just a minute early today. Let's see, can I hear myself? Now on the tubes. Hope I'm audible. Hope I'm audible. Let's see. We check that. Yes, I'm audible. Okay, great. So today's plan is, we look at documents and indeed on. I don't see many. No, I should probably change. Anyway, oops. This is an old shirt. It's 2004, and I like it. It's nice and large and comfortable. So, as you know, in the documents I look at, there is a lot of information. And one key bit of information is who is acting. Why is that key? For a couple of reasons. Firstly, because let's not forget that my study is based on women and their role in society. And therefore, I want to know if, actually that's the most important thing you want to know about a document is there a woman present or not? And if she's present, what is she doing? So that's number one reason. But also, it tells us, okay, indeed, a document might be from a cartulary of Monastero Maggiore, like we're looking at today. But who is actually doing the action? Which are the monasteries involved? Is the Monastero Maggiore even involved, or was it just by mistake, or for some other reason? And so I can find it out. And finally, also very importantly, if I'm looking at the economy of a single monastery, of monasteries overall, it's essential, it's very important to see, okay, are they receiving or giving? Are they buying or selling? Are they investing or being invested with? Are they paying or paying back or receiving a payment? And so I go through all the actors for all the documents, and right now I'm looking at disputes, which are the hardest type of document. And they're very hard simply because there is a lot of information. Like right now, we're looking at this one, number 217. Oh, I think I skipped one. I skipped 207, didn't I? Oops. Let me actually do 207 then. Let's see. Aha. That's very strange. I missed that. Oh, I already did 217, but not 207. Am I? So it'll be 5952, and I've not done that. Okay. So let's start with this. Sententia protorit dominus octo de something. So this is the judge. Consuli mediolanensis is a problem like Braida, maybe. One tebat cor pro Jacopum. Civitatis Mediolani ex una parte et ex altra 8 longum qui habitat a porta tonsa. Okay, so we have a dispute in this case between that's very strange. I skipped it. Odd. Between three people, right? Well, two people, and then a third is a judge. We have the judge. See this. By the way, on the side here, I am no, this one. No. Don't show me to this. How do I do this? Oh well. Properties. This is not monitor 2, but monitor 1. There it is. So to give you an idea, this is what I'm looking at on the side where I record information. Here I put my information. Here I can modify the database. Here I have the documents I need to look at, and here I have all the different pieces of details I need to access. So this actually get message in it. This is fine. Okay, sorry. So three entries we have, and the document is 207, which translates to 5952. We have a person from Milan. That's pretty, and then there are two just lady people. They're all males, unfortunately. Then two of them are disputing among each other, and they're both just single men. While the last one is a console, or I call him judge in this case, and is giving a judgment. Is protulit sententia. Carrying forward the sentence. 217 we're already done. Then we move on to 218. Just do this. 218. Nome Domini die lune 1 novembre, intenzione prima. In consiglio consulato mediolanensis, in the council of Milan, coram domino Gualdrico de Benbevulco, consule Mediolani, so this is our judge, dixide prestatus fuit Ambroxius seculus de Burgo Dexio, que petia illa terre sepria queritus, e qua et de qua est in causa cum domino Jacob in Menclosio. Cool. So again, same as before, three people, two lay disputing among themselves, and then a judge. Again, no women here, which is fine. Actually, women participate very rarely in disputes, as we maybe explore this Saturday. We're gonna do a discussion on disputes, but nonetheless. So actually, basically, what I mean by that is that this document is not even regarding a monastery, is actively not very useful to me, right? At least not for now. I record it, I get information, so I know what's there. But for my analysis, I'll probably skip this document. Nomine Domini die Antica in Palazzo Novo Civitas Megani, sententia protolit Dominus Enricus Cambarus, consul Megani, deliteque vertebant inter Dominum Jacobum Menclosium. Again, that's the same as before. Ex una parte exalta Dominum Philippum Madernum. Again, the same as before. Three people. Two are lay disputes, and one is a judge or the council discussing it. This is 221, so it's 6-7. Oh, whoa. I think oh no, I just made a mistake before. Oops. It's very easy to make mistakes. Very easy to make mistakes. So actually, 218 is 218. The one up here is 6-4. This is 6-4. Yeah, excellent. Then we have 235. 235. Okay, a big problem with disputes actually is that some of them, a bit like this one, they're not so clear what they are. So this is a series of three disputes. I think they're all the same. Discussing first what the fight is, and I think the payment, assoluzione, and then maybe a continuation dispute or a confirmation of the payment received. Generally recorded as a single entity. Superpetizione. Again, we're exactly the same as before. Jacobum Enclosium, qua petit, Quatenus, Loterius, yeah. So this is two people disputing. Cool. I'll put a 2, and then maybe I add. We'll see what happens below. 235, 5984. Just them disputing, and then I put the lay people. If you wonder why there is disputes that don't really matter towards the monastery, it's probably because the monastery survives until the 1700s, until Napoleon basically, or the French Revolution. And so often I think what happens is the land that maybe was owned by the monastery in the future. After this date, sorry, the one monastery acquires land, they also acquire with it all the previous documentation that's relevant. And I suspect that something like this, maybe the family that wins the dispute has kept. And therefore, when the monastery buys a piece of land that's in dispute, they get all the records of when the dispute happened and how it concluded, so that they have no problems themselves. That's an explanation. Another explanation that's possible is that the monastery is connected to this piece of land somehow. So maybe the dispute is between two vassals of the monastery, and so the monastery has a record of how the dispute goes. I'm not sure which ones, and honestly, to understand this, to answer the question properly, I will need to either know all the history of the monastery until today and all the land exchanges, or see, okay, here is where the monastery comes in a document. But there are two problems. Firstly, of course, it's very hard to know the whole history. I'm speaking like my brother. It's really bad. I just tell him borrowed English, and now I speak like him, which is really strange, actually. Okay, just stop that. Okay, that's weird. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's so strange. Putting on and not putting it on is come naturally to have the foreign speaker accent, like Italian/German. Very strange. Critica pezzi a terre, non è. Si di Domini Jacopo, so that's the same person. I don't repeat the person if it's already once. Okay, so there we have the continuation of dispute later on. So really, this is a different date, and I should put it as a different date. I should add a document here. I'm gonna open, insert all documents. I want to add this document because, of course, what's happening here is, this is later on. So the documents before that were looked at were from 225. So look at 221. 221 is millesimo, duecentesimo, vigesimo, quinto, while this is millesimo, duecentesimo, vigesimo, nono. So that's 4 years later. And clearly, 4 years later, Jacopo Menclozio has died, because his son, Guidotto Menclozio, filium quondam, is now dealing with the dispute. Filium quondam, notice. So I'm gonna add, and so this probably was done either later on or maybe it's fine actually. I don't need to add. I need to change it. So I will just keep. Let me just check. I need to check what I've actually put for this document. Oh, I have this. I forgot that I can look into that. Okie dokie. Let's see. Can I? This is cool. I'm using, by the way, my PG admin to access my database. Let's see. Let's see if I can tell it what I can tell it. Can I show this on stream without showing all my passwords and stuff? I think so. This is my database right now. So if we go to all documents, we go to this, and then I say select all from active all document. Active is just the schema that I'm looking from. I don't want to select all. I want to select all. That's fine. And then I want to say where. Who cannot edit this query? I never actually used this. Interestingly, can I do this? We're just being very slow. Is this what's happening? No, this is working. Oh, that's weird. SQL, statistics, active leader, active document. How do I work on this query actually? That's a bit strange. Hey, perfect now. Welcome. This is my database that I'm working on. No, I'm not working on it, it's like all my data. How do I edit the query? What the heck? Is this PostgreSQL? I don't know if you ever encountered this. Come on. Query tool? Oh, like that. Cool. Have you ever used Postgres? Today I'm looking at the actors of a variety of disputes. AKA I'm working. How are you? Whoop. Whoop. Oh, I want to put the chat here a little bit so I can see it. Documents where doc ID equals this is SQL database language. Oh, that's fine. That is good. Yep, very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. I've been using it since I've been using SQL databases since 2019 when I use Access. Presente guidato il figlio con Jacopo. Yeah. Okay, Petro. Yeah, they both died, man. Shit. Okay, so we also have the judge here. Senate Pro to lead Dominus. Okay, cool. And then since last year, since March 2020 in lockdown, I said, okay, you know what? Access is actually, it's nice, it's friendly, but it's shit. It's problematic. It has problems. And the main problem of Access is that, well, there are a few problems. I think the underlying problem is that with Access, like with Excel, like with, any Microsoft thing, they're very user-friendly at the beginning if you don't know what you're doing. They're very easy to use. You can pick them up, modify. You're free to do stuff. You have a beautiful interface. You can do, you're really free to do whatever you want. Well, no, sorry, you're really free to do a lot very easily. Just put information in and it does everything for you, right? It really covers everything. But when you decide to do something a bit more complicated, when you want a bit more control, when you want to start, using SQL language rather than using the boxes of Access, it becomes painfully bad, because everything is under a wrap, and so you need to unwrap everything, and not everything is very clear. Microsoft Office sometimes does what it wants, which is not great. It's really hard. For example, I really struggled to connect. I just couldn't manage to use the tool OECD, something. I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about, Barfana? OECD. That is that deep research I never got to the record. That's my name. Welcome. No idea, lol. It's a tool that basically you can use to connect. What's called? Use to connect Access to other programs like QGIS. But unfortunately, it doesn't really work on my computer. I don't know why. And so I was like, you know what? Screw Access. I'm gonna use Postgres, and I learned Postgres and SQL over COVID. That's a shame, it's my night. What were you planning to do? What was your plan? In the meantime, we're looking at this dispute. 1234. And why don't you go back to it now? We have here from, you can come to the UK. You faster to the PhD in the UK than to do in the US, I think. What I'm looking at? My Bob, yes, it is. Cool. Anyway, basically, PSQL is better to use not in Access. It also allows you to connect to very easily with Python or with QGIS, graphing mapping software. It's really good fun. Okay, so we have in Pretea. No, beyond Locaroxio. In Vicinanzia, the Vicinanzia is the neighborhood. Convocata, Commalio, Pulsato, And Arinzum. By the way, but my thesis research docs are sitting in the Turkish archives. Oh god. Oh god, that sucks. I'm really sorry. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's shy, to say the least. And I assume that Turkish archives are not the easiest to access. I just know the Greek archives are really hard to access. I don't know about Turkish ones. I know I have a friend of a friend was supposed to do a bunch of research in Greek archives, and they're not reopened since 2020. They just remain closed. It's like really hard to access. I was very fortunate. So I started my PhD in 2019, but I was able to get to Milan. Well, I'm from Milan, and this is my research in Milan. 50-50, honestly, meaning like some of them are good, some of them are not. It just a black hole draw. It's a bit like in Italy. Italy is the same. Milan, great archives. Over the summer they were open. I went there. Summer 2020, right? I was just able to go work hard on it. Came back, and now I have all my documents. Friend of mine in Bologna, just 100 kilometers south of Milan. Very different luck. Okay, so here we have Dominus Rogerius de Prato, Vicarius, Sindaco, Domine Martie de Piero. Domine Martie de Piero, Abatisse Monasteri Maggiori. So here in case we have an emissary of the monastery, which is interesting. You will never find, I have very rarely found an abbess or in general a woman in this period, which is 13th century, being the main actor of a dispute, which is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So while they acted frequently enough in everything else, well, especially sales, if they had to sell land, they sold them themselves. Or when a monastery invested land on people, it was the abbess herself. In a dispute, it's always an intermediary, which is a poignant point I'll write about. Rogerius de... Gosh, what is this? So what we're doing now is midnight. What's your backup plan while you wait for, be able to go to Turkey? The powerful. Also, Barfagna, how are you doing? How was your day? Century of tea. Why tea? This is a 13th century. Millesimo, duecentesimo, tredicesimo, quarto. 1234. What do you mean century of tea? I'm confused by that sentence. Okay, can you read this? I'm confused. I will probably call it... Take a picture of this because I want to see this. Document 241. So what I'm doing in the stream, generally the stream midnight is much more, is that right? Night, is that better pronounced? Much more transcribing things, but I need to work today. And so, I'm streaming my work very, very actively. Oh god, it's raining. Oh, no, most there is ambulance in the background. Pavero or Pauro? Pavos? Maybe I'll find something better afterwards. The surname for me is quite interesting because I'm also studying the role of different families in the life of monasteries. So it seems that in 1234, they did a non-thesis track on Ottoman and African American field studying the LSATs. LSATs is to enter law school, right? Where are you from against my night? Okay. Vice Domina Batisse. Okay, yes, fair. That's a good point. 30% drama. Yeah, it's. I guess it's. I assume it is pretty dramatic, isn't it? Disputes over land. When a gigantic monastery starts to. I think the other guys are the land workers. I suspect. Denunciavit, denounced. I thought you were talking about, the evolution of tea over the centuries. And yeah, and that's what I thought you planning to do a PhD on the Ottoman and African, on the Ottoman things, but I guess you didn't. I guess you just finished your masters on with what you had available. Law school, yep, California originally, currently on the East Coast. Very good, very good, very good. Our good friend Barbanat here is studying medicine right now. Okay. Aetius Monastery. Dixi e denunziamo. Today is the day of track screen now. I'm sorry about that. Dixi denunziavi, he said and denounced, et precepit, et pronominativit. That's fascinating that you see a PhD as a road to teaching. Oh wait, oh yeah, go on, ask Barfana. He just started a bit of a history course in Barfana is a first year university student. Pronominative omnibus illis nobis qui inter Massari, between the Massari, the land worker, the Monasteri, et quim interlocorum de Roxio, et Bugonzo, et qui Massari domini, non es domini, eran presenti. Okay, so denouncing the Massari and they're there. I'm looking for a name. There is no name. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna put it down as neighbors of Aroxio, which are basically correct. Good. No, I was saying, interesting you connect teaching with a PhD, because in my mind, a PhD is far more to basically get granted access to academia. Really, like to have a chance of becoming a researcher, a paid researcher, and yes, teach. And I like teaching. I like the idea of teaching. Don't get me wrong, but I see it much more as a side aspect of the work, which is maybe not super correct. I guess I'm more excited about the research aspect than the teaching aspect. How about you? Law, does law mean you want to become a lawyer? Is that all the law school leads to? Or there is other avenues after that? Yeah, but no, you're doing a course on African American history, right? Right now. Is that correct? Is that the one you took by mistake? By the way, Barbara, if you want to be more surprised of look at this is my entry data. If you guys are interested in what I'm actually typing on the side. Oh, my information goes. You should watch his stream, Barbara. He does a very good stream. I watch it sometimes. I've not been there in a while. I apologize, but it's a very nice stream. I very much enjoyed it when I was there. What's your schedule, by the way? It's midnight. It's like daily for a few hours. So one is an emissary and one is neighbors. Very good. Okay, next document. Next document is 241. I said I don't like teaching yet. I end up teaching history on stream so much law. That's a really good point. Interesting. Okay, very interesting. Slavery in Africa before Europeans arrived. Yes, there was. I can tell you that. And how was it different? I don't know about the second part. I can tell you about 30th century slavery in the African Mongolian steppes. But for now, if you're interested, I have studied that. 256. I also can tell you the importance of maritime cities in... God, when is your assignment due, dude? It's so early in the semester. So I've done 589, so 256. Yeah, why, I stream Monday, Friday, except Wednesday from 3:30 to... Oh, that's a long stream. Okay, how is it going for you? How are you finding it? So I do very much this hour every day, Monday to Friday as well. Now I'm trying to do weekends instead of maybe a weekday. And and it's mostly these documents. I do a bit of commenting on history sometimes. But are you liking it? What has it been like? But right now, to answer your first part of the question, I know less about the European American form. But, for example, the Fatimids in Egypt, the ruling power in Egypt for many, many hundred years, they had this thing that they kidnapped children or bought children enslaved, generally from Mongolia, rather than necessarily from the Mongolian steppes. They arrived through the raiding tribes there, like the Mongolian tribes of various kinds. There has been a constant stream of immigration from the steppes of Asia towards Europe, towards the Middle East, and then towards Egypt. And then they trained them to be special slave warriors, a bit like the Game of Thrones and Sulit. So that's a thing. And that was a big part of the crusading effort because they were very powerful fighters. I know that Arabian tribes raided in like the upper Saharan African area for slaves quite a lot. This is as much as my knowledge goes. And that was an important source of slaves too. 256. Also worth mentioning that Crusader estates, especially after the First Crusade, kept slaves to work their fields. That was the whole thing that they wanted. I can send you a very interesting primary source on that. Smidnice says it was mostly involved tribal warfare and slaves were treated like members of the community. The children were allowed to marry. Radically different than chattel slavery. Yeah, very, very different. Interesting. Well, that's actually interesting distinction there. What are sources from that, by the way? What do we get, and when are the sources from? Also, where I was just realizing that we're talking about Africa, but I was talking about Egypt. But I'm sure you're talking about this different place. Isn't that fascinating part of African history? Which is a big shame that is not explored further, especially in the West. How it's a continent and not. No, bye bye for now. Enjoy. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Hey, Lizard, hello. Okay, where are you at? 256. 256 is 6004. Yeah, isn't it fascinating how often we treat African history as this like monolith, right? Or just northern Africa, possibly. Well, it's a continent with its own very complex history and structure, etc. And we still do this, right? Like, so often you hear people speaking about, "Yes, I'm doing very well. Thanks. How are you? Long time no see on the stream." You missed a very cool stream on Saturday, by the way. You should check it out. I was going through the structure of sales and why they're important for my research. Yeah, we have this, even now, often we speak about, oh yeah, the African countries. And it's like, yeah, let's go a bit deeper in there, isn't it? They're all very different from each other, what we're talking about, actually. It's an absolute shame. My fiancé gets upset about that all the time. It's quite funny. But I'm doing well. I'm working right now on identifying the actors of these disputes. So this one is 1234 again. Look at that. So went to Northern Africa. Oh, interesting. It's a book that covers the development of Gold Coast into slave trading. Oh, very good. Very good. Northern East Africa. Yeah, because that's a big problem of looking at more medieval stuff. There is not many sources left at the time, especially for like before 18th, 17th century. It's quite hard to find written sources. I think, from what I understand. What do I have here? Il loci in pubblica vicinanza cum Malio Palisato, Veximus de Lamburgo et Petrus Soladus et Ambrosius Monte Consulis Aroxi. de mama, et ambrosi de loco. Ah, sorry, this is not consules. Consules. It's foreign consonant. Then et aroctius de mama, et ambrosius de loco quidarno, I think. Lascia curebusco, ranialdus de carubio, et amiens de monte, locarotio. What more? Ambrosio. It's very, very much understudied, yeah. And I think that's an understatement. And even let's be honest. Let's say all non-European pre-1800 is very much understudied. No, I lost my line. Which is a big. It's at best is a setting. At worst is a big problem of understanding. So what is slavery? I will send that to Barfordnot as well. And reads against the grain, discover more about slaves abroad and local culture and their identity. Interesting. They know the. Thank you. I'll look it up. 6. Let's see. Oh, don't see this. Ah! Ignore that. It didn't see my reader open up. Need to be better at all this streaming business. Very good, very good, very good. I will. Ooh, very interesting. Thank you. Thanks so much for that. Actually, very helpful. I will share that. Come on the Discord. And then continue the work. How is your work going, Belizard? Any progress? And we're calling afterwards to work, yeah? Is that a plan? Okie dokie. So we have 10 people. 4 of them were cancels. Oh, when is the deadline for that? Isn't it a bit late? Also, oh yeah, I'm not found mine yet. 17th, okay, you have time. That's fine. Is that for the gaming one, yeah? 604, this is 4 councils of Aroxio. Maybe. Kind of, we're not really sure where they're from. But they're all lay people for now. Not female. The dispute. For them counselors. And you're doing the proposal we talked about, right? Your game. And this is just guys 7. Nice, excellent. Happy to read over if you want me to finish it. Also, happy to do some more documents in the future if you want, if you've found something that you are interested in. Same with you, it's Midnight. If you have documents that you think I could transcribe, highly unlikely, because you're doing more modern Turkish things. But I'm happy to help with transcription. Procurator. Occupancio. Yeah, sure. Also, I'm working on a program that. Well, I'm working on an image editing software on Python. Hopefully, I find a way to deblur pictures electronically, and that might be very useful. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe it's possible. If it's possible, I can help you with yours as well, which should be very good. E consensi volontate licentia communis vicinanze. I'll keep that in mind. I was attempting to learn Ottoman Turkish for thesis, but I've let that slip. Yeah, that sounds like a. Do you speak Turkish right now? What was Ottoman Turkish like? They didn't write in Arabic, did they? That's interesting. Did they? Is the Quran used in the Ottoman Empire? That was in Arabic, I assume, right? Reconstituerit, missis procuratori, sindaco, nomine civitate, dominum Gulielmontum de Gluxi, in exigindo nominatum taliam. I cannot read this very well. Good thing I don't read it very well. So for my actual work, I don't transcribe everything all the time because that would be insane. That would be mad. Now I was learning it, but I stopped. I got kind of doomer pilled with COVID running. Yeah, fair to use, man. Fair to use. Fair to use, fair to use, fair to use. That's depressing as heck. No documents and nothing. Yeah, fair. You start wondering what is even the point of learning Ottoman or Turkish if I cannot get to Ottoman Turkish documents. By the way, why Turkey? What pushed you towards the interest in that field? That's always a fun question to ask. Dominum Guglielmus. What is Guglielmus guy? I think he is a representative, isn't he? Fatta per ipso consulus et alios vecinos qui. Yeah. Okay. You see, Elizabeth, this is sometimes, I guess, stuck in a single document for like 10 minutes and it's very frustrating. I hate disputes. Disputes are like the worst. In pro aliam in et terram dicem. I wonder if this Guglielmus is the representative of the neighbors of Aroxio, which is a place in Milan, close to Milan, and is stating what the dispute is. Okay. Well, facindi salvare dictum domini Guglielmi ed posso dare. There's the second document here. Okay. Let's keep looking. I think that they are really electing a guy here. They're electing the representative. So looking for an election. Electing. Declaring. Let me read 1 second. It's my night. So they are declaring, I guess. Yes, so they're declaring, which is a 30. Or giving permission. No. So I originally wanted to be a World War I historian. Okay. And as I knew next to nothing about the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. Mina, I assume, is Mediterranean, North African. What's the E for? Middle Eastern, North Africa. Sorry, makes sense. Cool. Then I was okay. Very cool. Yeah, I love the Ottoman Empire. I don't like, not that I love it, because it's actually terrible, very sad and bloody. I did a course on Middle Eastern cities in my undergraduate. Fascinating stuff. There is so much. Like, I studied quite a bit of Smyrna, right? Thessalonica. The course focused on different cities, especially in the 19th, 20th century. But even there is what's the word? A wealth of information, of ignorance there. Like, it's great. It was very, very, very interesting. I learned so much. Very hard course as well. I mean, of course, the problem is language, right? Big challenge is language for that one. Like, here is all in Latin, and I can read Latin, but without Latin, I would be really bummed. Yeah, that's true. No, that's very true. That's very true. You know what? You know what? Really, I'm a medievalist, as you might notice. I don't know if you noticed that, but I like medieval history. I really, in a similar fashion, I'm fascinated, and I'm not exploring it, but I might in the future. I'm fascinated by the Byzantine Empire, which is a bit of a similar thing, right? It was there for 1,000 years after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Isn't that wild? 1,000 years. That's a long, long, long time. We just like basically know nothing about it. That's not true. We know quite a bit about it, but we know all about it. Sorry, but we don't really study. Have you seen documentary on the fall of Coast on Netflix? No, I've. Oh, Constantinople. I've not. Is it good? That sounds interesting. Okay, let's see if we can continue this. Presentibus, Ioanni Bello, figlio quandam Girardi, Aroxiodis, Testibus, no? Yeah. Yeah, how much? How long is it? Interesting stuff. It really is. It really is. And again, the reason is very obvious. Besides the fact that it's not our countries, but also the language barrier, right? Fall of Constantinople. Is that the rise of the rise of empires? Which one is it? I don't see it. They're doing this very nice documentary. Actors playing their characters on Netflix. What's it called actually? Because I don't find it on the Netflix search. Okay, let me actually find. Okay, let's go back to this. So these guys are witnesses. Okay, so it's okay, yeah. These guys are witnesses. Testibus. Then we have sign, which says, okay, here's are the people. Dominus, Rogerius, de something something, vicinario missus die dominem. Ah, there we are. Again, the abbess of the monastery, not present in the document herself, sending a representative. Which is the same as before, same guy as before. Petit wheat, yeah, is petitioning for a promise that they were made of a bunch of money, which I assume is the price of a fee of a rent of a land, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, with the same guy, 7. Again, same. I don't know why they're saying the same thing. They're electing again. I'm not gonna repeat it. Okay, and I assume qui fecerono e costituirono e eleggerono dominum Guglielmus. Okay, this should be the procuratore. Procuratore means what's the word? Procuratore in English goes for intermediary. Ismena, you want to become a lawyer? What's your legal history expertise? Have you done any legal history? That's a very cool topic. Studying. I hope you get into that. So, what specific area or field in medieval history? Myself, I look at women history, really, in the High Middle Ages. I don't know if I know Middle Ages. It's 12th, 13th century. It's kind of like towards the Low Middle Ages, isn't it? Yeah, that's the low. Okay, so let me add the dispute here. Sorry. That's what I'm interested in. I looked through this. Ooh, you will love it. Now, I think legal history is so interesting. So part of my master's, and I think part of my PhD, will be looking at the influence of law on the life of women. I look at Milan, right? I'm from Milan. Look at Milan. This document from Milan. I have like 5,000-6,000 of them. A key part of the discussion on women in Milan, in Italy overall, over between the 12th to the 15th century, so from before the Renaissance, especially the Renaissance, is the role of Lombard law. Lombard law is basically the legal codes of Rother. The Rother is the main code, but basically held by the Lombards, who, as you might not know, or you might, they controlled Italy, they invaded Italy, and more or less ruled it from the 6th century onwards, until the father of Charlemagne came up and kicked him out in the 7th century. So they were around there for 200 years, and their legal framework overtook basically the Roman framework the Roman law framework that was common in Italy before that. And of course, there are different legal codes, and different legal code have different impact on society, right? So, for example, a rule of Lombard law is the mundualdus. The mundualdus is this. Tell me if you know everything already. I'm just repeating things, because if I am, I'll stop. But basically, the mundualdus is the requirement that a woman had to have a protector. Mundualdus means protector. To act publicly, right? To participate in public act. And of course, this is seen, especially, this was seen, now maybe a bit less, but it's clearly a limitation, right? It's a big limitation on freedom of action. And so there is this question, oh wow, like Kevin, hey, finally you're back. How are you doing, man? How's university? You managed to find your feet? Yeah, that's good. I still caught it at last time. At last minute, you mean? Check out my video. Check out my I put on YouTube a discussion on sales. You might like it, like Kevin. Look at my YouTube channel. I was saying mundualdus, important, and of course it's a key part. And there is idea that in the 15th century there is a resurgence of Lombard law. Yeah, I think you did. I think I noticed that when you were doing it. But you know what? It's very good to go deeper than to be shallower. It's better to know more than to know less. But you can relax a bit, I'm sure. Yeah. Now it's a good time to. I feel that you know all the course now, and you're fine. And anyway, so what I'm saying is, man, is basically the study of legal change is really interesting, and I'm kind of looking at it to see, okay, what's important in Lombard law, what's important in Roman law. Roman law is seen as more freeing for women because they don't have requirements like the mundualdus or other such things. But it's debatable, and I think I disagree with that perspective. Nonetheless, it's clearly very important. Oops, sorry. So let's go to the next document, which is 259. So this basically at the end of this document, we had the dispute between neighbors of a locality close to Milan with the abbacy of Monastero Maggiore. 259. I've done that. That's one. Hope you like that. That's good. But I made another one on Saturday. Let me link it. I'll share the link here. Or you can just click on there is a link on the description, but this one. Maybe this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Maybe not as exciting. The title. I need to work on my titles, but that one. Oops, sorry. I closed my chat. I thought it was an interesting discussion. People liked it, so there we are. Maybe you also like it. Maybe you also find it interesting. I'm discussing part of my research and part of the importance of sales in it. Okay, an even more confusing document. Whoop, whoop. That's great. God, I don't like disputes. What was your favorite part of the last 2 weeks, Kevin, besides the difficulties? Dominus Ugolini. Sibadinus Iudices ed Assessore parte Mediolani. Book being the your textbook. Yeah, fair dues, man. Tell me more about them. Is it just like really hard to people don't know anything about the topic because they don't do any studying? Yeah. I feel you. For sure. How many contact hours do you have, by the way, that you have it? Ok. Apparitionem prorogerius de Pironano. Pirovano, probably Pirovano is the place. So I think Iudice Ambrosius Giallo would. So I think we have two. It's something that yes, man, because you have time to just play your time. I think we have two judges, this guy and this guy. I think it's not judges, but it's a similar thing. I'm not an expert in legal history very much. I don't know the details of the what's the word? I don't know the details of the communal structure of the judiciary in Milan. I don't know if Elizard, you're an expert in the. You must know more than me what the judicial structure was in Bologna in your period, right? But anyway, so they're discussing. Same, I must say, same. Pironano, that is very true. I love it. I love it, and I will put it on my. I think that's a great point. Fantastic point. It's beautiful. Oh, this will go very well in the Brancalonia Facebook group. My research goes reasonably well, to be honest. I'm happy with the speed I'm going right now. I've not done any much writing lately, and that's okay. But I'm collecting a lot of information, so I'm hoping that I will have enough. Because, you know, the PhD is research, source collection, and then writing something down. And that part terrifies the heck out of me, I must say. But it will happen, and it will be fine. Everything will be just fine. It's no problem at all. Everything will be a-okay. I think you're the only PhD in the world that with the guts to say this. You know, thanks. I'm also maybe just saying that to convince myself that everything is fine. I'm happy. Okay, so honestly, I'm really happy with my research. I am not so happy with my writing, but I am also confident that once I get to the place where I have enough research, I can write fast. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, and that's just being honest, right? I've been working very consistently over the past month and a half, and I've done a lot of documents, and so I'm quite confident. What is scientific research work groups, DKV? What does that mean? So you have to create arguments, for instance, to a sentence like, the Netherlands did not use writing. Huh? Huh? Myself, it's midnight. Oh god, what is happening here? The idea that, hey, did my research, hopefully writing goes fine. Yeah. Your MA is 4 years long, isn't it? That's a long time. Netherlands English writing, that's what do you need to say about that? You need to argue for it or against it? Or both, or either. Ok, no Caroxio. The Piet per Lunarate, Pagano, De Roxio, e Grasparto, figlio Eos, Equidoto, Emazio, e Lucrete, Six, Amirezzo, so many people. always so many people acting in these documents. It's a lot to keep in mind. I like research. I don't like writing. Yeah, cheers. You know, very interesting. I actually love writing. I find writing stressful. If that makes sense. There is that dichotomy, right? Like when the writing goes well, it's one of the most pleasurable feelings in the world for me. It's just so fun. Unfortunately, for me, it often is a painful experience because it doesn't go very well. And when it doesn't go well, I really struggle. I really struggle. And again, I literally sometimes when I need to write, I feel my heartbeat rising, etc. I literally feel my heartbeat rising and get stressed. And I was like, just thinking about it, I need to write in an hour. I need to write tomorrow. For that, the trick of the 10-minute spurt has been great. 10-minute writing, get it over with, do something and then move on. Yeah, it's pretty helpful for that. So, okay, I made an argument that it is an absolute statement. Absence of evidence does not mean proof of absence. That's a really good point. That's a really good point, by the way. It's just that we cannot reconstruct it since we have nothing. It's very unlikely that they have written. It's very unlikely that if they have written, perhaps wall drawing is pictographic. However, in this case, you can not say anyone did it since they lived for a long time with Homo sapiens. So I just talked about the historical method and proper parameters in all kinds of words. Interesting. What is the time period though? No, you're writing since when? I find it very stressful. If just getting started. Once it gets going and I'm going space with arguments for child, it's the best feeling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get tripped as well by I try to write before I have enough arguments. And when you think, oh, I know enough. And then you start writing it like, actually, I don't. And I keep trying to bat my head against it. And of course, it doesn't work. I'm getting better now. Be like, okay, let's, like what I did now. I was getting very stressed. Okay, stop writing. Let's go back to my research. Get more data. Come back with better arguments. And then it helps. That's helpful. Some product uniform and we cannot decipher it. It's very unlikely, but you don't know. Whoop! When did Netherlands start writing? Was it on Bluetooth or something that did it? Let me get this again. Okay, stream time is finished. It's half 4. That was a fun stream. Thanks guys for coming by and chatting. That's my night. I appreciate very much your liking my tweets once in a while. Yeah, the Kevin, come back. We're always very welcome. Also, I think this weekend I might stream on. I will stream on Sunday for sure, and we're gonna play some Crusader Kings 3 if you're interested. And I might stream on Saturday with an analysis of Investiture, or maybe next Saturday. I'm not 100% yet. I'll put it on the Discord when it happens. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Ezra, now if you wanna call for work, I'm happy to. No toilet first, and then I will keep working. What do you do in your free time? I work. I do more documents forever. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Love it to see you all today. Goodbye.